has happened 3 seasons in a row. A full lineup of comfort picks for both RRQ and ONIC Esports. The battle of the Indonesian Kings starts now as the portal opens up for us to enter the land of dawn. Game number 1, RRQ versus ONIC Esports.
Whew. We always start with a bit of a whoop, but because always there's so much action going on, there's so much to look at. Look at the emblems of both teams. Actually, only RRQ has the advantage of the Demon Slayer, but for the side of ONIC Esports, you can see that in the gold lane in particular, it's all about scaling, it's all about getting that gold. CW with the Abyss won't be having as much potential in the early game compared to Skylar, who has the weapon mastery that will still scale better into the late game as well. So I think mid game is what ONIC Esports have in mind right here, especially because they do have an assassin.
That's true, that's true. I have to agree with you. I think there's a small sliver of opportunity for CW to get ahead in that lane. And of course, Sans needs to get that level 4 first, but with this in mind, it seems like ONIC Esports, they are going to be able to clear and could be able to be more mobile on the map in this early game, but RRQ seems to have the better initiative on the board.
Vin has used his flicker already, so has Skylar. So ONIC Esports in the laning department already very aggressive. You can see that Sans was trying to make a play happen. Magic Worship on this Pharsa as well, so beware of that extra bit of damage. Sometimes it does catch you off guard. As on the top side, look at that. Lemon gets chucked down.
That was the winning lane that we were mentioning earlier on, and that's why the Curse came through, but Vin here.
But the airstrike with Keyboy as well, flickering. Sans getting very aggressive early on and getting the kill. Expect this Pharsa to go for a lot of aggression, right? This is not a standard Pharsa. It's Sans on the Pharsa.
It's a different situation altogether, and honestly, the Valentino pick really seems to be struggling in the current situation, in the current meta, but with the turtle up here, Albert using that early game advantage as a fighter to try and pressure KAIRI, but he does seem ready, and it's gonna be a big fight here. RRQ has a bit more of a combo, a bit more of catch potential. We'll see if they can get something of value right here.
KAIRI once again onto the back lines. Albert going to be able to actually dish out the damage right now as KAIRI wins the Retribution battle. Keyboy with a bouncing ball, stopping Albert as KAIRI jumps into the back line, but Clay jumps into the penalty zone onto 3 members. It's still Albert who's going to fall, and ONIC Esports are building their gold lead now. 2,000 built up.
Now that's not good, right? That isn't great for RRQ Hoshi in particular. ONIC Esports with a 2,000 gold lead, and the way that they have compose their draft with the fact that they are going to get that power spike in that mid-game, means that if they snowball from this early game, it could be over for RRQ Hoshi. Their only saving grace would be Skylar in the late game because of his Weapon Master emblem and the fact that he is going to scale better. And of course, with the WON, the damage coming in from the Blazing Duet will be nullified. But other than that, ONIC Esports means that they only have one target to have to go and punish.
Well, defensive bravest fighter here by Lemon. He actually dishes out the damage, but the Feather Airstrike comes in. Lemon forced to flicker out. A good bait in abilities, but it's the ONIC Esports who are able to make these proactive movements happen. Down below, Divine Judgment, Keyboy can be melted down. A good trade on the board. Good reactions to respond to ONIC Esports' proactiveness.
Ooh, it takes 2 flickers for them to try and get any success there though, so clearly there's a big difference in what they need to use, what they need to expend to try and make the plays happen. Later on, once the game gets rolling in that mid-game, ONIC Esports will definitely have a bit more pressure here. I mean, due to that mid lane, right? Sans roaming around, having that burst potential is just shutting down all the aggression, and RRQ are unable to try and use their pickoff and their crowd control to try and isolate KAIRI in the jungle.
Oh, we do have a fun fact by Grab though. Albert holds the record for most Savages in MPL Indonesia Season 6, Season 7, and in Season 8 he was able to get it twice. I think he's looking for the next Savage. Maybe in this game, we'll see what happens. As you can see here, RRQ already rotating towards the top side, trying to help out Lemon there in that losing lane.
You can see that Clay has been spending a lot of time in the top side of the map here, not really going for the mid-clear, so now Sans has a bit of advantage, but RRQ goes and tries to rush the turtle.
KAIRI is 1 level ahead here. Keyboy is going to be able to get popped back in. Sans actually just waiting around as Blue jumps into the penalty zone. KAIRI wins it again! The Tyrant's Rage, able to knock them all back. Albert taken low. KAIRI with Temper the Blaze onto Lemon, goes onto Clay, picks the kill up, and ONIC Esports once again win in the turtle fight. It's a massive blow to RRQ. Hey, I'm alone.
Oh.
Mirko, we'll see.
Arashi, no!
We'll see if that. Whoa, what is that laugh, Mirko?
That's an evil laugh from the man who went for ONIC. Adi
The
in,
only
bro.
one.
Well, we'll see if Mirko's gamble pays off here. It didn't earlier, remember? But in the early game, it's going to be so difficult because ONIC Esports, they're just threatening so many different things. They can go and engage with a blazing duet out of nowhere. They can go for Keyboy, going for the pickoffs, and they can go with the penalty zone as well. Vin, because the target, the Predator Airstrike, has been used right now. But this is what happens. ONIC Esports have so many ways to approach these skirmishes.
My main issue is the fact that Vin used his Divine Judgment not on KAIRI. And therefore, RRQ Hoshi doesn't really have an answer to KAIRI, but
Skyler, that's the collapse. He's able to flicker out. Now with the tip of the blades, KAIRI gonna be able to jump out of the Divine Judgment by Finn. Slaps him in his face. KAIRI gets brought back into the team, and it's a shutdown to Skyler, the member that you do not want to give gold to.
And I just mentioned that. I was like, Vin didn't use his Divine Judgment onto KAIRI, and that's when KAIRI just went crazy ham on RRQ Hoshi, and that's exactly what they did, and they were able to get a little bit out of it there. A little bit of a trade, a little bit of a send-off for ONIC Esports here in the 6th minute of the game.
And a bit of a cast the curse situation happening again, but right there, it's a great play by Skyler to clear the waves using both his ultimates and then flickering away from danger, and that is what allows them to take out KAIRI, who just directly takes the tower aggro, and now Lemon with the Bloodlust Axe tries to get aggressive right here, but it's on the other side, so CW will be farming as the turtle is up, so RRQ has a chance. But of course, they have to be very careful on who they use their skills on. Like Eterna mentioned, KAIRI needs to be put under control.
Well, right now we have to see how ONIC Esports actually goes for the turtle. Remember, KAIRI is still super vulnerable to the Divine Judgment. They are actually prioritizing mid-control first, but CW rotating over, clearing it out. Vin doesn't have the flicker just yet. 3 seconds, a good reset by ONIC Esports as RRQ trying to look for another opening in this turtle side. They pushed in the bottom side, so they are both responding to each other's proactive movements here, and they're reacting pretty well. It's still ONIC Esports here who have more control. Keyboy in the bush, channeling that Tyrant's Revenge. Might just go for it onto Vin. Gets a solid target as the Tyrant's Revenge will be popped in as well. But the airstrike as well. Vin will be popped in. KAIRI wins it for the 3rd time in a row as Lemon is in the midst of it all. He's going to be taken down, and ONIC Esports have just won another turtle fight. Keyboy with the Tyrant's Revenge, but Clay with the rage, responding it back. Keyboy recalling in front of RRQ's faces, and ONIC Esports will be able to capitalize, taking the tier 1 in the mid lane and even up top.
That was really smart. That was really smart by ONIC Esports. They know the exact person who's going to be able to catch KAIRI is only Vin. And so, of course, Keyboy goes all in onto him. And it doesn't matter that he's a tank. The fact that he's the only one that can hinder the movements from KAIRI, it's good enough. He was taken too low, used the flicker to get out instead, and not to go for an engage onto KAIRI. And then they were just able to capitalize over that entire situation.
Again, the Keyboy with a massive play! The Tyrant's Revenge, the penalty zone! ONIC Esports popping off in the 8th minute of the game. Those are the recalls, and even the ha from Keyboy, the emote spam.
Wow, what an engage, man. I was about to say, ONIC Esports right now, the issue is that they have so much more combo crowd control compared to RRQ. So even when RRQ tries and get a huge engage with the bravest fighter, yes, he can. Lemon can stun multiple people, but so can ONIC Esports. And if you're not careful, that's a penalty zone, a Tyrant's Revenge, Tyrant's Rage combo, as well as KAIRI with a Tempest of Blade. And if you're still in the fight, a blazing duet on top of all that. So RRQ, they're trying their best to try and split the fight up, but they're not getting the fights they need. And even if they want to try and go for the pickoff, ONIC is not letting any easy pickoffs go in the way of RRQ. CW, Sans, and KAIRI are just not in a vulnerable spot for Vin to take advantage of. Later that might change, but for now, this is something that ONIC Esports is completely abusing.
6,000 gold lead, guys, in the 9th minute of the game. ONIC Esports, they're completely controlling it. It's so difficult. Even if RRQ Hoshi want to take a gamble and they want to go and look for the contest on the Lord here, KAIRI, he's level 13, whereas Albert's still level 11. They're 2 levels apart.
There's some items still on the side of RRQ. It's a 6.6k gold lead right here. Notable items here is that KAIRI with an Endless Battle, Windtalker, as well as a Berserker's Fury. That's a lot of DPS if he's left alone. So that just means that Vin is forced to use the Divine Judgment defensively, and that also means that for RRQ, the only real engage tool is going to be Lemon with the Bravest Fighter. So ONIC Esports has been able to play around it. If you look at the items, they're all getting a decent amount of physical defense as well. So the longer this goes, the more RRQ will have no options at all. ONIC Esports just trying to counter them with macro and with item decisions.
Oh, Divine Judgment finds San's Keyboy though! Finds the rage! Every single time! The response is just there. Lemon with the stun onto Boots. Clay flickering forward. Lemon might just be able to win this team fight for them. But Boots finds the triple kill. Doesn't have the flicker just yet. He goes for it, but KAIRI takes the Maniac away from Boots. It's the ONIC Esports with a victory. Keyboy still styling, recalling in front of Albert as CW tries to siege the mid lane turret down. It's Keyboy with a Tyrant's Revenge. Albert not going to be engaged on just yet, but will be poked down by CW here. Albert still able to clear out the waves with the help of the base turret passive, but it's a free Lord conceded once again. RRQ behind 10,000 gold.
They're in a tough spot for sure because RRQ just really isn't respecting the potential for ONIC Esports to combo them. They got the pick off onto Sans in that situation. That's amazing. That's already more than they can ask for from ONIC Esports. But then they stick in place and Keyboy is so quick on the re-engage. RRQ needs to go for more of those plays and always expect the retaliation coming because there's no way ONIC Esports at this point in time, at this level, will let them get a free pass in those situations.
Man, oh, 9.6, almost 10k gold lead. The Lord already marching there in the mid side, and you can even see KAIRI. He's just looking for more things on the board for his team. ONIC Esports, they're playing it really, really disciplined, even though they were 2-3 members ahead. They still went in for the Lord, and they were able to get an inhibitor turret in the mid side for it. But not more than that. They actually went back. They don't want to overcommit. They don't want to make a rookie mistake, I would say.
Look at the gold difference here for both these teams. It's just abundantly for the side of ONIC Esports and particularly for KAIRI. We talked about trying to shut him down in the jungle. He's actually the most farmed character right now, so he has a lot of damage on his hands if RRQ don't shut him down. And now the issue for RRQ is the same thing. There's just so many problems and they don't really have enough solutions for everyone, and Keyboy is just always the engager, and his engage is a lot more dynamic than that Divine Judgment. The crowd control really isn't as severe like a suppression, but it still comes out a lot faster and a lot further away. And the follow-up comes in with the Feather Airstrike as well. So RRQ, they really have to try and wait for a chance where ONIC Esports make a mistake, or better yet, try and move in a way that will force them to try and use one of these ultimates as a deterrent.
I don't know how. That's difficult, right? Because when you're talking
Very
about
difficult.
Gufra, it's not just that, but it's also AoE. So he's going to be able to pick up 2-3 members at one time, and here we go. We'll see if Keyboy gets another one.
He doesn't just for now. CW though. Oh my god, that damn. Oh, he even baited the flicker from Vin. That's a thumbs up by Vin. Just showing respect once again. And ONIC, CW, going back to his form. He is in form currently now.
No deaths, but 6 assists on that Claude, still scaling towards the late game, still doing more damage than Skylar right now. Because honestly, for Skylar, I think at any point, if he does not use the Renner, there's no really real way for him to try and deal damage safely. And even then, at this point, with KAIRI this fed, he needs constant babysitting to ensure that he does not get instantly picked off. So ONIC Esports, they just have to wait and try and do the exact same thing. Wait for an engage from Keyboy, follow it up by a Feather Strike, and if anything goes south, they have ways to try and deal with it, and RRQ tries something different here. They go for the exchange, kind of, sending 2 members on the top side, but ONIC respawn with lightning speed, man. No time wasted at all.
It's risky. It looks like ONIC Esports definitely saw that, but it doesn't seem like RRQ have an issue with that trade. They know if they go in for a 5v5 because of how far behind they are, they wouldn't be able to win it, and they would just give ONIC Esports more to play with. So they were able to get a trade in that turret in the top side. But ONIC Esports, they're going to push with this Lord here in the mid side.
If they push, they still have the high ground to play around with. Yes, their marksman isn't as long range, but at this point, it won't even matter if Keyboy can go for a huge engage. That seems to be the main target. And look at that, Lemon goes in though.
Lemon now stunned up. He's going to be taken down almost instantaneously. He does get some damage. And Boots Finds the penalty zone on the back line. No further follow-up. It's good micro-management. Sonic has taken, wow, that's a lot of damage onto Sans already by the Valentina. But ONIC Esports are again playing it disciplinedly, rotating towards that top side, knowing that they've lost the mid lane, well, lost the mid lane wave. Now they're going in for it. Sans doesn't have the feather airstrike just yet. Keyboy already channeling it in. That's going to be the feather airstrike finally popped in to zone the members away from that base turret up top. ONIC Esports take it and recall again as disciplined as ever.
Now, what did you think about that move by Lemon? Going in straight 1v5.
I think in that particular situation, it was good because it bought enough time for RRQ to actually clear the Enhanced Lord.
I mean, that's the best circumstances, kind of. And there was a chance they were going to only lose the mid lane base turret, but with ONIC Esports just pressing their advantage, they were able to get 2. So RRQ, man, it just seems like they're relying on Lemon to make the plays, but you cannot rely on only one person, right? Everyone needs to be able to surprise ONIC Esports because they're just playing it like a chess match. And like we mentioned, you need to be several steps ahead. That is exactly how ONIC Esports is right now. If Keyboy misses his engage, there's still so many ways for them to just get an advantage using the penalty zone again and again. And now with this orange buff being contested, ONIC Esports might go for something.
Oh.
Again, KAIRI takes the orange buff. Albert is down.
Oh, no.
KAIRI and ONIC Esports. They've taken Albert down for the third time this game, and even Boots was positioned really well. I thought at first it was just Keyboy buying some space, buying some time for Boots to get into that position, but in the end they actually decided to collapse onto Albert, who was all alone.
Look at the items here, CW, full items with the Wind of Nature as well as the Corrosion side, so there's a lot of utility built in for ONIC Esports because KAIRI has one as well. With no base towers available, the logical conclusion is to go for this Lord spawning in the next 19 seconds. I think RRQ has no chance but to gamble it. If they don't go for it right now, I think ONIC Esports can get a guaranteed end on the base, all things considered.
I mean, even if they go in 5v5, it doesn't seem like RRQ Hoshi can win that team fight. They need to look for a pick. But even that is so much easier said than done. They have 0 map visibility right now. Nobody can go in to the front line and open up vision and give information because we see Lemon trying to do that and he gets insta-bursted down, but RRQ, they're gonna die trying.
Keyboy looking for a pick down below. Is going to be stunned up here. Sans is able to melt Lemon down with the help of CW. Lemon is down. That's the frontliner gone. Sans with the wings by wings. Now looking for a different angle to maybe go for some more. Clay gets chunked with 1 skill. Penalty zone popped in, but it's KAIRI who picks up the killing spree. CW jumping back in, only to get slain by the Decimate. Meanwhile, in the back line, Booth onto Skylar, able to find the damage as he is godlike in this game on the Terizla. They ignore the Lord. They don't need it. It's a 4-for-1. Sans with a flicker forward with a feather airstrike, stunning Finn down. Keyboy with a follow-up. Finn falling, and ONIC Esports are going to be able to lead the series with a solid wipe out 12,000 gold lead in game number 1.